Oftentimes we wonder, where does food go after we eat it? What happens to the food? What happens to the liquid? And our digestive and excretory systems are the systems that are going to be in control of that. Digestive, getting rid of our solid waste, and excretory, our liquid waste or our urine. The function of the digestive system is that it converts food into fuel so that it's usable energy for the body. There's a mechanical and chemical process. The mechanical process is the teeth and the tongue chewing and breaking down that food. The chemical process is all the enzymes in our saliva and our mouth, which will help to break down the food to make it easier to swallow. If you've ever tried to swallow something and did not have a lot of saliva, or your mouth was very dry, maybe if you were eating saltine crackers, it's very hard to swallow that without having that moisture in that food item, which is that chemical process, which helps with that. The excretory system is our body's waste removal system, which is our liquid waste. So that gets rid of all of our urine, and that's going to be filtered in our kidneys, which is then going to be stored in our bladder. We're going to focus a lot more on the digestive system during this PowerPoint. So you'll learn about the digestive system parts, where the food goes when we put it into our mouth, how that actual process goes. And then at the end, we'll hit on the excretory system again with the kidneys. The mouth is where digestion begins. Saliva is going to moisten it and make the food easier to swallow. So once we put food into our mouth, the process of digestion starts right at that time. Now, after food leaves our mouth, it'll go to the back of our throat. Remember that epiglottis is going to be the little tube that's going to go over the windpipe so that it actually opens up our esophagus so that food can actually go down our esophagus. Now, our esophagus essentially is about 12 inches long. It can be longer, it can be shorter in different people, but it actually works as a muscle. So once food goes down to the back of our throat, the muscle will slowly move food down by muscle contractions before the food actually gets into our next organ, which is our stomach. The job of the stomach is to collect, churn, and break down food. It is a temporary storage place. There's gastric juices. Hydrochloric acid is one of them that's in our stomach to help to break down food. Hydrochloric acid actually in pure form could actually burn metal. In our stomach, our body doesn't produce enough of it to damage our bodies in most cases, but it'll produce enough to actually break down the food. Now, this liquid that goes into our stomach stays for about 10 minutes. The fatty food's going to be a little bit longer, about 3 to 4 hours. The fattier the food, longer it's going to take to actually break down. Now, once our stomach is done doing its job, it works as a muscle, breaks down that food. It's going to then push the food into the small intestine. Now, within the small intestine, the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas are 3 other organs that are going to be working with the small intestine to help with the digestive process. The small intestine, once our food gets in there, it's about 20 feet long. About 1 inch in diameter. It is the longest organ. Now, stretched out, if we were to stretch it all the way out, because it's very coiled, it's close together, kind of like a hose on a vacuum cleaner. It's coiled together, and then when we pull it out and stretch it, it gets longer. That's what how our small intestine is. If we stretched it out, it would actually go around the diamond of a baseball field. And because it's about 20 feet long, it is where most digestion takes place. There's a little villi, that's what this picture is representing, or little hair-like structure that'll actually move through food through the small intestine into before it gets into the large intestine. But as I mentioned earlier, the small intestine doesn't just work by itself. The pancreas, liver, and gallbladder also help. The pancreas, we talked about this with endocrine system, will produce the insulin to break down the sugar. So any carbohydrates that we take in, whether they're simple or complex, pancreas is working now. The liver will produce bile to break down fat. The liver also, besides producing the bile to break down fat, will also help to metabolize and break down that sugar as well. And then we have our gallbladder, which will store the bile the liver produces and release it when it's needed. The gallbladder is actually staying greenish in color because the bile is actually a yellowish greenish color. Now, once all of the digestion process takes place, all of our good nutrients are absorbed, then any type of leftover will then move into the colon or the large intestine. The colon is another name for the large intestine, and its job is to get rid of waste, leftovers, as well as absorb any water. Here, if you look at this picture, this is the cecum, which is the end of the small intestine. The small intestine is not on this picture, but this is the large intestine, the ascending, transverse, descending, and sigmoid, which are the different parts. These just label the different parts of the large intestine. Sometimes when people have problems with their large intestine, it could be with the ascending, transverse, descending, or their sigmoid colon. Now, once any leftover food is got going through the large intestine to get rid of it, absorbs any waste. Any leftover will then be stored right down here, which is called the rectum. And in the rectum, the food will be stored until it actually leaves the body through this opening right here, which is called the anus. The anus is the opening where feces leaves the body. Whole digestion process from the time we put food in our mouth to the time we get rid of waste can be anywhere between 24 to 48 hours, depending on the person and what a person actually ate and what they're actually getting rid of. Sometimes when we have any intestinal problems, we get any bacteria into our digestive system, any viruses, the food can come out quicker, usually in the form of diarrhea, which we'll talk about when we get to digestive disorders in class. The kidneys are what I mentioned we would come back to, which are the two organs that are going to be, I know this picture shows a belly button, so it shows more towards the front. The kidneys are actually located towards the back. We have a right and a left kidney that are both bean-shaped, and they help with getting water and dissolving waste from the blood, helping maintain proper levels of water and salt in the body, and then essentially getting rid of the liquid waste. Yes, we can only live with one kidney. Some people donate kidneys. Some people only have one working kidney. As long as one works properly, it is going to be sufficient enough for our bodies to actually work. These couple websites that are on here are different websites that you can go to that have different animations, or a short YouTube video that are going to show different videos on the digestive system. So if you want to kind of get a video on how does the system work, you can actually check here. What I'm going to do is attach a video right now to the end of this. Feel free to watch it. If you don't want to watch it, you do not have to, but it's a video that'll help to explain the digestive process.
And turn them into energy that help your body to work and grow. The digestive system includes
the mouth, esophagus, liver,
very good.
stomach, gallbladder, pancreas, large intestine, small intestine,
And
the rectum.
yes, very good, right. Many of these organs help to make up this system's digestive tract, a long muscular tube that starts at the mouth,
Where you take in food.
right, and ends with,
The anus. Where feces or poop comes out.
yes, quite right. This tube is in fact about 30 feet long in adults. The journey of that apple you ate after school begins at the mouth, where it's cut and mashed and ground into small pieces by your teeth, and saliva begins the digestive process. With the help of, helps you swallow?
Oh, the tongue.
Yes, very good. The food moves into the throat, and then down into,
The esophagus.
yes, a soft tube that empties into the stomach. Once it reaches the stomach, mashed up food particles begin to mix with stomach acids.
And enzymes.
Oh, yes, I know. I hadn't quite gotten there yet. From the stomach, the mashed up food moves into the soft, long tube known as
The intestine.
yes, where most of the digestion takes place. The liver makes a bitter yellow-green fluid.
The bile.
Yes, bile and digestive enzymes from the
The pancreas help release the nutrients from your food so they can be absorbed and circulated around your body in the bloodstream.
Yes, let's try to remember who's teaching here. The blood brings the fats, proteins, and carbohydrates
Including sugars.
to the liver, which helps make them into building blocks the body needs to work and grow. The liver also helps remove harmful substances from the blood.
Where does it go?
Well, what isn't needed moves on to the part of the intestine called,
The large intestine, where water is removed from the mix and feces are formed. Ew.
right. Next, it's the job of the rectum to pass what your body doesn't need